So, in the last session, we have discussed about the various equipment required for the direct testing, like a short circuit generator and the master circuit breaker, making switch, short circuit transformer, and resistors, reactors, capacitors, measuring equipment. Now we'll continue our discussion with direct and indirect testing. In direct testing, the circuit breaker is tested under conditions which actually exist on the power system. So it is subjected to restriking voltage which is expected in practical situations. Reactor X is to control the short circuit current. Capacitance C, R1, R2. These are to adjust the transient restriking voltage. So short circuit tests to be performed are as follows. First, test for breaking capacity. So we have discussed about these things in ratings of the circuit breakers. So we can see this is the making current, this is the asymmetrical breaking current, means which has both AC and DC currents, and this is a symmetrical short circuit current, which is which is symmetrical about this axis, that means power frequency voltage. So here we have seen symmetrical and asymmetrical breaking capacities, symmetrical, asymmetrical currents. So the master circuit breaker and the circuit breaker under the test are closed. First, the short circuit current is passed by closing the making switch. The short circuit current is interrupted by opening the breaker under the test at the desired moment. So we have already seen the recovery voltage and restriking voltage. We have discussed about this already. So the measurements are taken as symmetrical breaking current, which is the RMS value of the AC component of current. Asymmetrical breaking current, which is both AC and DC components, which has recovery voltage, which is the power frequency voltage, frequency of oscillations, and rate of rise of restriking voltage. So these are the measurements under this test. The circuit breaker must be capable of breaking all currents up to its rated capacity. But it is not possible to test all the values of the current. Therefore, the tests are performed at a 10%, 30%, 60%, and 100% of its rated breaking current. So coming to the making capacity test. So for making capacity test, the master circuit breaker and the making switch are closed first, and then the short circuit current is initiated by closing the circuit breaker under the test. That means circuit breaker has to withstand the making current. What is the making current? It is that the rated making current is the peak value of the first major loop of the short circuit current wave measured. You have seen this one is the making current. So duty cycle test. The following duty cycle tests are performed. Breaking 3 minutes. That means the interval followed. The next breaking and 3 minutes, and followed by next breaking. These tests are performed at 10%, 30%, and 60% of the rated symmetrical breaking capacity. Next, breaking followed by some time interval, 3 minutes, and next making followed by breaking. Next, the time interval of 3 minutes and making followed by breaking. These tests are performed at not less than 100% of the rated symmetrical breaking capacity and not less than 100% of the rated making capacity. So this test can also be performed as two separate tests. One is making followed by some interval, and again making. This is a make test. The B3B brake test. The B3B tests are performed at not less than 100% of the rated asymmetrical braking capacity. So here B denotes the braking operation, M denotes the making operation, while the MB denotes the making operation followed by braking operation without any intentional time delay. So next, short time current test. The short time current is passed through the circuit breaker under test for a specified short duration. 1 second, 3 seconds. Already we discussed that the symmetrical braking current to the rated normal current ratio, if it is less than or equal to 40, then the time allowed is 3 seconds. What is the time? When a circuit breaker is connected in series with another breaker, when another breaker is interrupting the fault, this breaker has to withstand the high currents for some time. So that is called short time current test. So in case if symmetrical braking current to rated normal current ratio, if it is greater than 40, then it is just 1 second. The test is for 1 second. And current is measured by taking an oscillograph of the current wave. So the short time current should not cause any mechanical or insulation damage or any contact welding. The equivalent RMS short time current, it is evaluated as follows. The time interval is divided into 10 equal parts. So these are marked as T0, T1, T2 and so on, T9, T10. The asymmetrical RMS values of the current at these intervals are marked as I0, I1, I2 and so on, I9, I10. The equivalent RMS value of the short time current using Simpson formula is given by I is equal to square root of 1 by 3 into I0 square plus 4 into I1 square plus I3 square plus I5 square plus I7 square plus I9 square plus 2 into I2 square plus I4 square plus I6 square plus I8 square plus I10 square. From this, the equivalent RMS value of the short time current can be calculated. So next, coming to indirect testing. The indirect testing involves the testing of high voltage circuit breakers of large capacity. They requires very large capacity of the testing station, which is uneconomical. So it is also not practical to increase the short circuit capacity of the testing station. Therefore, the methods of testing are used for testing of large capacity breakers are two types. They are unit testing, synthetic testing. So here what is the unit testing? Unit testing means generally high voltage circuit breakers are designed with several arc interrupter units in series. So each unit can be tested separately. From the test results of one unit, the capacity of the complete breaker can be determined. This type of testing is known as unit testing, and one unit will be taken for testing. Next, synthetic testing. You can see the setup of the synthetic testing here. We will discuss about each and every part, each and every component of this synthetic testing setup. Synthetic testing, in this, there are two sources of power supply. A current source and a voltage source. What is that current source? Is a high current, low voltage source. It supplies short circuit during the test. Short circuit current. So the current source supplies short circuit current during the test. What is the voltage source? The voltage source is a high voltage, low current source. It provides restriking and recovery voltage. There are two methods of synthetic testing. That is parallel current injection method, one method, and second one is series current injection method. Out of these two methods, parallel current injection method is widely used as it is capable of providing RRV, rate of rise of restriking voltage, and recovery voltage as required by the various standards. So the high current source is a motor driven generator. It injects short circuit current I1 into the circuit breaker under the test at a relatively reduced voltage Vg. Inductance L1 is to control the short circuit current. So here the master circuit breaker under the circuit breaker under the test are tripped before the current I1 reaches its natural zero. So you can see here the waveform. I1 is actually naturally reaching the current zero here. Before it reaches the zero naturally, these two are tripped. That means master circuit breaker and the circuit breaker under the test both are tripped here. So these breakers are fully opened at T0. Next, the capacitor C1 is a high voltage source to provide recovery voltage. So it is charged prior to the test to a voltage of √2 Vs. This voltage is equal to peak power frequency voltage, which will appear across the contacts at the moment of the circuit breaker under the test interrupts the current. So this is charged to √2 Vs. So here L2 and C2, they control the transient recovery voltage and a triplet. So the triggered spark gap is fired at T1. The spark gap is fired at T1 slightly before the short circuit current I1 reaches its natural current zero. That means before the short circuit generator current reaches its natural zero, this will be triggered. So it is done to properly simulate the pre-current zero zone during the test. So there is a control circuit to fire the triggered spark gap at appropriate moment. We can discuss this one in different way like this. So here you can see circuit diagram. Heavy current at low voltage is applied. So the recovery voltage is simulated by high voltage small current source. If you take the procedure, when the auxiliary breaker 3 and the test circuit breaker T are closed, and these are closed, making switch 4 and a master circuit breaker 1 are closed. Hence, current flows through circuit breaker and the test like this, and all 4 are closed. At a time T1, the test circuit breaker begins to operate. You can see here. At a time T1, just before the generator current becomes 0, the trigger gap 6 closes, and high frequency current from the capacitance CV, which is charged to √2 V, CV flows through arc of the gap. At time T2, generator current is 0. Master CB1, master circuit breaker CB1 is open. The current from CV will flow through the test circuit breaker and full voltage will be available. So at first short circuit current is flown. Next, this voltage is applied. So at the instant of breaking, source is disconnected as high voltage is supplied by auxiliary circuit breaker CB4. So this is the way the test will be conducted. As a summary of the short circuit test, They are used to check the ability to safely interrupt the fault currents, to determine the braking capacities at different load currents. So I've seen the methods of conducting short circuit as direct tests using the power utility system as the source, using short circuit generator as the source. Next, I've seen synthetic tests also. So these direct tests using power utility system as the source to check the ability to break normal load conditions, break in normal load conditions or short circuit conditions in the network itself, done during limited energy consumption. So what are the pros and cons of this direct test using power utility systems? Advantages: tested under actual conditions in a network. Special cases like very short line faults, etc., can be tested. Thermal dynamic effects of short circuit currents and applications of safety devices can be studied. What are the disadvantages? Can be tested only in rated voltage and capacity of the network. Test is only at light load conditions. Inconvenience and expensive installations of control and measuring equipment is required in the field. So these are the disadvantages. Thank you.